Welcome, good morning. How's everybody doing? Good. My name is Greg Jacob. I am from Henry Ford Macomb Hospital. I am also on the board of the chamber, and I want to welcome you to downtown Mount Clemens and to the state of Mount Clemens. And remind you that parking is free in that lot that you parked in. And so if you already fed the meter, like I did, Barb Dempsey appreciates the contribution to her bottom line. As always, we want to start by thanking our sponsors for this event today. Those sponsors are AT&T, United Shore Baseball League, C&G Newspapers, and ITC Holdings. And we have a couple representatives from those companies to say a few words. First is Teresa Doan from United Shore Baseball League. Teresa?
Thank you. I see a lot of familiar faces, so thank you for supporting the league. So I wanted to start just by giving you some highlights from the 2017 season. Ticket sales. We had a banner first year. So 2016, the inaugural season, went really better than we expected. We sold out 42 out of 75 games, averaging just a little over 3,000 fans per game. For the 2017 season, we actually sold out 60 out of 75 games, averaging just a little over 3,300 fans per game. So great improvement over year one. A lot of that was attributed to our groups and our events. We more than tripled the amount of corporate groups and corporate outings that we held in the ballpark this year. So that was really what helped make the season a sellout. For the league, I think when we started the ballpark, our hope was to sign at least one or two players to a major league affiliate. And we're actually really pleased to announce that we've just signed our 18th player to a major league affiliate. So thank you. Thank you. So the league is doing tremendous, and the players are now looking at the league as a place to come and play to get their careers back on track, and they know that we're a spot that they can come. They can actually come to Macomb County to advance themselves to get into Major League Baseball. Expansions, we are looking for our next site for a new ballpark. Hopes to have that site plans in place by spring and be ready to play baseball May of 19. So that's the next plan is to build the next ballpark. Okay, so let's talk about, that's the 2017 season, so the off season. During the off season, the ballpark for the most part is closed. However, we do keep the VIP AAA clubhouse open. So as my commercial, if you are looking to host a holiday event, you want to host a meeting that's in a little different atmosphere, the ballpark is renting out the AAA clubhouse. We have executive chefs and full kitchen staff on site. So that is available to anybody that's interested. For the 2018 season, I'll give a little pitch for bringing groups to the ballpark. If you are looking to do an employee picnic, a company picnic, the ballpark is the perfect spot for that. We take care of everything. We provide the food, we provide the drinks, and with the baseball game and the mascots, we provide the entertainment. If you have clients that you want to do a client outing, the ballpark is kind of a little secret hidden gem where you can bring your clients out and have a good time with them there. So please come to the ballpark. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. We also have Linda Zublik and Sarah McCabe from C&G Newspapers. Come on up, say a few words.
Short microphones. It's okay, we don't need them. No, that's okay. I know how to, I didn't want to adjust it. Okay. I'm Linda Zublik, the marketing coordinator for C&G Newspapers.
I'm Sarah McKay, the advertising account representative.
You guys all know Sarah in the Journal area. Our Journal newspaper has been reaching your homes for almost 31 years. So we're proud to be able to bring news and advertising business messages to your community. We are also pleased to be able to sponsor the State of the Community series with the Macomb County Chamber. The only other thing would be we have 19 newspapers altogether. The Journal is only one of our group of papers, and they're all direct mailed to the homes every week.
I would like to say thank you for the business for throughout the years, and I look forward to working with people I haven't worked with and
All right.
continuing the relationship with the ones I have worked with.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. And on behalf of Henry Ford Macomb Hospital, I want to mention that we have David Darmetko here. David, wave, please. Dave is representing our EAP services that we provide different programs and services to keep your employees healthy and productive on the job. So Dave has information at the table out front, and you can stop and see him on your way out and find out more information about those services. And you probably heard that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Henry Ford Macomb is also sponsoring Making Strides Against Breast Cancer, a big event that takes place tomorrow right here in downtown Mount Clemens over in the parking lot next to the police station. They probably have several hundred people there tomorrow walking and raising money for the American Cancer Foundation, American Cancer Society. So if you want to get some exercise and get up early in the morning and join us, you're welcome to do that in downtown Mount Clemens. And with that, I will move on to our main event, which is the State of Mount Clemens. Please welcome Mayor Barb Dempsey.
Good morning. No one's in the front row again. You know, I'm gonna get paranoid on that one. I want to welcome everyone here today. I know it's early. I hate doing speeches early in the morning. I think Mark Hackle has the right idea. Do it in the evening. So maybe we need to change these around a little bit. Thank you, Greg, for this great introduction. I want to thank all of you for joining us this morning on this very crisp morning. We had down that it was going to be a beautiful morning, but I think the weather is now catching up with us and changing drastically. So I'm glad that everybody's here today. As a longtime resident of Mount Clemens, I have very strong roots to this community, raising my family here as well as serving the public good as an elected official for more than 28 years. Mount Clemens is, and always will be, very dear and near to my heart. Did you know our Mount Clemens is one of the oldest cities in Macomb County and Michigan? And did you know that Mount Clemens will celebrate its 200th birthday in 2018? I'm so excited to not only share what we have planned to recognize our bicentennial, but also to present all that we've achieved and accomplished since my 2015 State of the City address. But let me begin with some much felt thanks. First off, I'd like to thank the Macomb Chamber for sponsoring this event. Second of all, I'd like to say I want to especially thank Oakland University for hosting us today. OU has offered classes at the Anton Frankel Center in downtown Mount Clemens since 2011. In every sense of the word, OU is and has been a true partner for our community. From sponsoring events like the Independent Day fireworks to Mount Clemens presents the Macomb County Santa Parade. We also have state and county officials in our audience, and I'd like to recognize State Representative Bill Sowerby, front row. Thank you, Bill. Macomb County Chief Deputy County Executive Mark Delden. Also, we have Pam Levers, Deputy Executive in the back. We have Macomb County Public Works Commissioner Candace Miller here. Thank you. Thank you all for coming today. Mount Clemens is a proud city for two reasons: our people and the businesses from all corners of our community to continue to believe in what we are and what we do. Behind me, you will see many photos of our great and beautiful city. And for the of the projects that we have in progress. Let me begin with our devoted residents. Many families have called Mount Clemens home for generations. We're proud to have more than 100 residents who volunteer and dedicate their times and talent to the city boards, committees, and commissions, all working to improve city services, beautify the city, and maintain city's history for all those who live here now and for those who will come. We couldn't do what we do without these volunteers. Our devoted civic organizations, the Optimist Club, Lions, Kiwanis, Rotary, and Goodfellows, they work tirelessly to improve the quality of life in our city by enhancing the sense of community. All are fine examples of people who believe in Mount Clemens. In Mount Clemens, we like to refer to them as local treasures. Our City Commission developed a Local Treasure Award to recognize those who make our city a better place to live through exemplary positive contributions. So my pen's moving. Our 2017 Local Treasure Award recipients are Ruthie Stevenson and Dan Nevin from Thomas Nevin Jewelers. Our first recipient, Ruthie Stevenson, has lived here for 50 years and is known as a pillar of the community. Ruthie has worked diligently for the rights and dignity of all people in Mount Clemens and Macomb County. She served on numerous boards and committees and received many accomplishments for her efforts. Ruthie could not be with us today because she is at one of her committee meetings in Detroit. Our other local treasure is Dan Nevin from Thomas Nevin's Jeweler. Dan has been a staple in Mount Clemens downtown business district for more than 30 years as proprietor of Thomas Nevin's Jeweler. He's been involved in some form or fashion and in almost every event that occurred in our downtown area, and always with his eye towards improving business for everyone. Over the years, Dan's involvement, dedication, and heartfelt commitment to Mount Clemens has been unsurpassed. Again, unfortunately, Dan could not be with us. He had surgery, and I hope he's recovering and will be up and about soon again. Please join me in recognizing their efforts for everything that they have done to improve Mount Clemens. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge our past local treasurers. We have Irene I'm going to have a hard time with this word, Slochatowicz from, everybody knows her as Irene from Miller Brothers. Probably better than trying to slaughter her last name. The late B. Stark from Stark Service and Hardware. Dr. James Thompson from North Broadway Church of Christ. And this past summer, we named North Broadway Street the James Thompson Street in his honor. Dr. Lois Eulens, Bill Mangan from Mangan's Irish Hut, the late Thelma Ulrich, and Diane Kubik from Max and Ollie's Vintage Boutique. And I know that she's here today somewhere. Oh, over there. Of course, you can't speak of those who believe in Mount Clemens without mentioning the dedicated members of our administration and staff who work tirelessly to make our city what it is, working with our precious financial resources to provide the best service possible to our residents. Several of those individuals are with us today. Please join me in acknowledging City Commissioners Roger Bunton and Bill Sonny Ford in the back. Laura Kropp, who along with her husband Paul, served the city not only through her elected position, but also as a business owner of Bakes and Kropp Fine Cabinetry. And she's in the front here. Also, City Commissioners Ron Campbell, Lois Hill, and Denise Menser, who were unable to join us today. I'd like to take a special moment to acknowledge Lois Hill. After 12 years of dedicated service, her tenure on our City Commission will conclude in just a few short weeks. We'll be sad to see her leave, but her presence in all the other community projects will continue to be felt. Please join me in wishing her well and thanking her for the many years of service. Interim City Manager Lisa Borges and Assistant City Manager / Public Service Director Jeff I've got a whole list if you want to wait and clap after. Finance Director and Treasurer Linda Kunith, Community Development Director Brian Tingley, our City Attorney Mike Murray, Utilities Director Jeanette Best, Human Resource Director Sarah Price over here on the corner, Deputy Director Kathy Martin, City Clerk, excuse me, I just promoted you, I told you I would. Deputy City Clerk Kathy Martin, and Jennifer Gilotti from the City Manager's Office. We also have with us Kiara Davison from the Human Resource Department. All were key contributors to today's event. Senior producer Patrick Lindemary and producer Darren Roberts from the award-winning Macomb Cable Network. Steve Saff Jr., the chairman of the DDA Board of Directors, and Michelle Weiss, the DDA Marketing Coordinator. And I'd also like to extend a very special thank you to OU's Patty Georgievich for assisting us today. Now we can clap. Novelist C.S. Lewis once said, "We are what we believe we are." Everyone who works for Mount Clemens believes in Mount Clemens and believes that it is a great and vibrant city. They feel a great sense of pride in contributing to the success of Mount Clemens. They revel in their hard work. Vital services such as utilities, DPS, fire, and administration are all provided to our residents and community with just 70 total employees. And coupled with the fact that nearly 50% of our community is nonprofit or tax exempt, the ability of the city to continue to provide such high-level service speaks volumes to the efforts of our staff. And it's paying major dividends, especially if you see the city's recent bond rating increase. This year, Moody's Investors Service upgraded Mount Clemens' rating to A3 from Baa1. So, what does that mean to us? Well, the rating is an overall view of the city's operations and Moody's opinion of the city's ability to operate in the same improved manner in the future. This is a real, verified vote of confidence from experts who also believe in the future success of Mount Clemens and the progress and strides we continue to achieve. Seeing is believing, and the property values in Mount Clemens are on the upswing. Our city assessor's office reports a 7.9% increase in residential property values, an 8.4% increase in industrial property values, and a 2% increase in commercial property values in 2017. These values have been steadily increasing. There have also been an increase in some exciting new city services to make the lives of those we serve easier when they need vital information. For greater transparency, residents now have free 24/7 online access to tax and assessment information on our city's website, cityofmountclemens.com. By the same token, the city clerk's office has launched Documents on Demand. Mount Clemens residents can access city agendas, minutes, and packets, as well as city events, in a clear and concise manner on our new and improved website. And they'll get email notification when new items are posted on the website. Another recent improvement for residents, they are now able to use credit and debit cards as payment method for their bills at the treasurer's office. There have been multiple upgrades to city buildings and equipment. One upgrade may actually save lives. This year, an upgraded Fire County dispatch connection was installed that permits faster, real-time data access in fire vehicles and emergency scenes. Communication is key when you're talking about life and death. But communication is also an important factor when it comes to informing our residents. The City of Mount Clemens has recently entered the world of the social media with our very own Facebook page. Our public can get the latest information about the Clem, from meetings to special events to emergency alerts and job postings. To follow us at the City of Mount Clemens government to gain even more sights into our great city. And I'm going to pause and take a drink because I know my mouth is. Our city clerk's office is busy preparing for the city election in November with new voting machines. These machines will provide greater ease of operation for our election workers as well as our voters. This equipment was implemented as part of the statewide changeover funded by the Help America Vote Act. And we're investing capital improvements into our ice arena. That's giving us more than 20 years of ice skating and hockey programming. And I'm happy to announce and say that we have paid off the bonds on the ice arena. So now we can make the improvements to the capital improvements that we desperately need to keep the ice arena operating. And we're not just having equipment upgrades, we're having talent upgrades. Our city filled several key administration positions, including utilities director, confidential executive secretary, and the human resource assistant. These folks are committed to providing top-notch service to our residents, business, and visitors to Mount Clemens. We've hired 2 new firefighters and promoted 2 lieutenants and 2 captains. Through September, these 12 individuals in our fire department have gone on close to 2,300 runs, and they could easily exceed 3,000 runs this year. Our utilities department received a huge SAW grant from the Department of Environmental Quality for $1.8 million to clean and televise all city sanitary and combined sewers, so we can review conditions of our underground pipes and perform preventative maintenance as needed. Pretty good, Candace, right? We can top that. All right. And speaking of maintenance, I'm extremely proud of our Department of Public Services. DPS works tirelessly with limited staff to provide services that are second to none. I can't tell you how many compliments our city receives about the DPS's prompt snow removal service during the winter to keep our streets clean and the drivers safe. To further improve the condition of our streets, the DPS applied for and received a $1.5 million grant to resurface Harrington Street from South Mount Gratiot to Hillsdale. The project will begin this spring. Also in the works for this spring, we'll see the replacement of crosswalks, the addition of ADA ramps on sidewalks, and street-level work throughout our downtown, thanks to a $400,000 TAP grant. Kudos to our Department of Public Service Director, Jeff Wood, for expertly researching and receiving these grants to save the city literally millions of dollars. Way to go. DPS is also looking into expanding its route for the Dial-A-Ride shopper program for seniors to include stops at Walmart and Kroger, in addition to the current daily stops at Myers. Mount Clemens is home to a scenic riverfront, and we're looking forward to making it accessible to everyone. The Community Development Department has worked diligently this year with the Clinton River Watershed Council and Macomb County to implement MacArthur Park Kayak Launch Project, a program designed to incorporate a handicap-accessible kayak launch, along with ADA-compliant tables, chairs, and restrooms, as well as a kayak storage locker. A special thanks to all the contributors and entities who donated during the crowdfunding campaign to make this project a reality. So as you can see, there's a lot happening downtown lately, but there's more. Within the past year, we've seen the reopening of the historic Emerald Theater under John Hanna's ownership. This downtown staple has been completely renovated and repaired after sustaining flood damage in 2014. If you hadn't had a chance to see the theater, take some time to check out a concert or other venues. I'm sure you'll be wowed. John has other projects underway in our area, including a new Mexican restaurant, El Rey's, next to the Emerald Theater. Watch for that opening soon. John has also invested in several other properties in downtown. Another local developer, Paul Boone, is investing in Mount Clemens with opening of O'Halloran's Public House and Hall. John and Paul are 2 examples of entrepreneurs who believe in Mount Clemens. The whole community benefits with the tax base increase. In addition to our newer establishments, I'd like to take a moment to recognize some longtime businesses whose owners have supported Mount Clemens through the good and the challenging times. Perhaps you've seen Cabin Tree by Better Built, sign on the corner of Cass and Southbound. There, it's recognized 40 years in business. Or maybe you've purchased or received flowers from Kratz Florist. They are celebrating the 70th anniversary. I want to recognize some businesses, skipped one. Again, these are part of just a few of the 30 businesses who've made Mount Clemens their home for decades. I want to recognize some businesses and establishments that continue to invest in our locations in Mount Clemens. On Groesbeck, Exalta has upgraded its operations to include a new technology center, which is a result of 18 months, multi-million-dollar investment. Here in our downtown, Macomb County continues to invest in its facilities and change the skyline with the demolition and addition of the parking garages. On Harrington, McLaren Hospital continues to develop its facilities to meet the health needs of our community at large. Mount Clemens welcomes several new businesses to our family as they've chosen to relocate or reestablish themselves in our community. D-Mark moved from neighboring Chesterfield Township to the former Habitat for Humanity Restore building on Groesbeck and Hubbard, putting this facility back on the tax rolls. R&B Construction completed its new office building on Cass Avenue. LaBelle Electric is constructing a new 12,000 square foot office and industrial building on Church Street. Fiat Chrysler recently purchased the old Ford building near Groesbeck to expand operations, which will bring new jobs to the area. There are developments just north of town as well. The former Macomb Daily building off North River Road has been converted to the North River Mini Storage Facility. And with the recent sale of Gibraltar Trade Center, we're looking forward to its redevelopment. Businesses are seeing what community leaders already know. Mount Clemens is the place to be. And on a residential note, Meadows Assisted Living recently broke ground on its new $4.1 million adult care facility at the intersection of Grand and southbound Gratiot. Also within last year, the renovation of the apartment units on Groesbeck near Cass was completed. And down Crocker, you can't help but notice a new home being constructed. This is just the first of several single homes that this person is adding to our housing stock. And I just want to kind of go on a side note. I went to school with this person, and I found it interesting. She lives in Naples, has a home in the Keys, but she's building a vacation home in Mount Clemens. Gotta wonder about that. Normally, we're all going that way. So, yes, she's really excited to be back here in Mount Clemens. So we're glad to have her. This is just a few of the several single homes I said that she's planning on building. It looks like she believes in Mount Clemens too. Adding residents to our community through new construction of any kind not only builds a stronger neighborhood, but it also gives the opportunity to share even more of our hometown pride. Speaking of sharing our pride, our Downtown Development Authority is always busy scheduling events for our residents and for the many visitors of our city to enjoy. In addition to events coordinated and sponsored by the DDA, several other projects are in the work. This past summer, the Mount Clemens City Sneaker Program got off on the right foot. Runners and walkers of all ages joined together once a week to enjoy a good workout in a non-competitive environment. This program helps to create a healthier community, stride by stride. The DDA and the city will work together on a new parking program for this holiday season. The free after 3 will start on November 17th during our Christmas open house and run through December 22nd. Parking is always free on weekdays after 6, and it's always free on Saturday and Sunday. The DDA and the city are working on attracting pop-up businesses in downtown for the holiday season. The DDA is exploring the possibility of installing outdoor fitness equipment in public spaces in downtown business district. This will allow the city to put health and wellness within the reach of residents and community members. The DDA is exploring grants, sponsorship, and private donations to assist this funding of the project. They are also exploring the possibility of bringing bike sharing program to downtown. More than just the means of transportation, bike sharing has evolved into serving a range of uses, including recreational for small and large communities, as well as invigorating commercial centers to boost economic development and provide broader and easier access to trails and green space. In just a few short months, our 2018 bicentennial celebration will kick off with the New Year's Eve fireworks, the only fireworks display in Macomb County. And don't miss the children ringing in their fireworks in Never Never Land early in the evening. Beginning in January, City Hall will host the Hall of History with monthly exhibits showcasing the history, culture, and advancement of the various entities that make up the city of Mount Clemens over the past 200 years. Mark Sunday, March 11th, 2018 on your calendar. We'll be holding our official bicentennial ceremony at the Emerald Theater. We will honor our founder, Christian Clemens, and recognize our city's history. Other exciting events planned to mark this milestone includes a bootlegger's ball, old-fashioned ice cream social on the riverfront, and a USO dance. In addition, legacy and beautification projects are underway in several of our parks. Our birthday celebration will also be highlighted at many of our regular scheduled events throughout the year. And there will be new commemorative items for sale, including the book, and I have a prop. Macomb of the Capital, a bicentennial history of Mount Clemens, Michigan from 1818 to 2018. This book was written by our own librarian, Deborah Larson, and you can purchase this book today if you'd like, and she is here with us today, and she'll be happy to sign any of the books that you purchase. Or you can buy them at City Hall or the Mount Clemens Library. We are also looking for the oldest living resident, the oldest home, the oldest business. So if you know of any person or place that applies, excuse me, my mouth, we would like to hear from you. So if you know of anybody, please share it with us. As part of the bicentennial celebration, the city would like to invite all residents to participate in the festivities by submitting an essay describing my favorite Mount Clemens history. Memories and photos from all ages and groups are welcome. And we always encourage you to invite your friends and families to visit Mount Clemens. Have them join us at one of the 30 events held annually in Mount Clemens. Each year, more than 150,000 visitors attend. The Independence Day fireworks display itself brings in 40,000 people to downtown Mount Clemens to witness one of the premier fireworks display in southeastern Michigan and our state. And with this special thanks to our premier sponsors, OU, the Wayne Weber Foundation, and the DDA. The Made in Michigan show, the Downtown Sights and Sounds concert series, the Uptown Friday Night concert series, the Halloween Spectacular. Please join us tomorrow for this fantastic event. Last year we had over 5,000 children and parents attend this event, so don't miss out. Bring your grandchildren, bring your children down, it's fun. The Downtown Christmas Open House and the tree lighting, which is Friday, November 17th, and also kicks off the Anton Arts Center Christmas Market that runs through December 22nd. And the Mount Clemens presents the Macomb County Santa Parade in downtown Mount Clemens. I'm proud to say this year's event will be our 42nd annual event. This year's Grand Marshal is Andrew Humphrey from Channel 4. And please remember, the parade is on Saturday before Thanksgiving. So mark your calendars for November 18th. And I just want to give a shout out to my committee members who have been with me for 13 years planning this event. We start in June, and they have been just diligently working. Everybody has assignments, and they've stuck it out for 13 years. So I just want to say thank you guys for being with me through this whole process, because we truly enjoy our parade, and we want to keep the tradition going. It's been a staple in Mount Clemens for, like I said, 42 years. There are many other events throughout the year to attend as well, like our award-winning Farmers Market, voted the best farmers market in Macomb County by Metro Times 2 years in a row. With all of these happenings, 2018 will be an exciting year for Mount Clemens as we celebrate our cherished past and recognize the potential and the opportunity of the future. What a vision our founder, Christian Clemens, must have had when he came upon the area 200 years ago. Could Christian Clemens have imagined the community he settled would exist 200 years later as an economic center and a judicial hub? That 200 years later, Mount Clemens would offer the amenities of a large city while still retaining its small town feel. I think Christian Clemens will be proud of what Mount Clemens has become and what it means to so many today, and that our community leaders still believe in the city. I'd like to take a moment to show you a few video entitled Minutes of Your Time. These snippets of Mount Clemens history were the subject of the 2016 Historical Society of Michigan Award presented to the Mount Clemens Public Library and the Macomb Cable Network. They are available on Bass City Beat YouTube channel. Take it away, Sarah.
Did you know that Mount Clemens was once known as the Rose Capital of Michigan? It all started in 1882 when John Breitmeyer Jr. moved his greenhouse business to Mount Clemens from Detroit. He located it on Guchow Street, and so many other flower growers followed him, the street was renamed Floral Avenue. In the decades that followed, Mount Clemens and the surrounding area became home to several major flower growing operations. Among them were Mount Clemens Rose Gardens and Floral Avenue greenhouses, along with Heckman, Essmaker, Lewis, Tinkler, Kratz, Munt, and Smoke Brothers greenhouses. In 1959, the 20 major greenhouses in Mount Clemens area were sending approximately 15 million blooms to market each year and generating $2.5 million in floral sales annually. Taken together, the local greenhouses had over 65 acres under glass at their peak. As the years went by, the domestic floral industry was increasingly challenged by cheaper imported flowers grown in South America. Mount Clemens Rose Gardens was among the last to close in 1999, after 75 years in business and production of 25 million dozen roses.
Did you know that a popular Mount Clemens pub is located in a building that has been a tavern for over 100 years? It all started in 1900 when Fred Mayer decided to build a new saloon at the corner of what we know today as North Main and Market Streets. To draw the plans for his new brick building, Mayer chose Theophilus Van Dam, the architect who designed most of the bathhouses in Mount Clemens. The new tavern was called the Green Tree, a name that stuck with it for more than half a century. The Green Tree made news headlines during Prohibition, when it was raided for serving illegal liquor. Federal officials jailed the Green Tree proprietor and padlocked the bar for more than a year. Prohibition ended in 1933, and the Green Tree went back to business as usual. The bar changed hands in the 1960s and has been known by several different names since then. In 2013, the building was renovated and became the home of the Three Blind Mice Irish Pub, continuing a tradition of serving good food and spirits that has lasted for more than a century.
Did you know that the last bathhouse in Mount Clemens was named for a character in Greek mythology? It all started in 1911 when a group of Mount Clemens businessmen opened the Arethusa Bathhouse near the corner of what we know now today as Cass and South Main Street. The new building would turn out to be the last major bathhouse to be constructed in Mount Clemens, and it was named in honor of the mythological character Arethusa, who was said to have emerged from the depths of the earth as a healing spring of water. The new bathhouse boasted all the latest amenities of its time, and was the last one in Mount Clemens to offer mineral baths. Long after the Bath City's heyday had passed, the Arethusa finally closed its doors in 1973. 3 years after the bathhouse was closed, the building was destroyed in a spectacular 3-alarm fire that was said to be the work of arsonists. Today, Oakland University's Anton Frankel Center stands on the corner of the location of the famed Arethusa.
There are, I think, 30 of these, 34. Oh, 40. Whoa. 40. Oh, 50. Going once, going twice? No. Of these Minute of Your Times that you can see on Bath City Beat YouTube channel. So please take a look. They're very interesting. The history of Mount Clemens has and does speak volumes, and our future is limitless. I'm committed to continue to move forward to do more for our hometown, Mount Clemens, as we lay the foundation for our next 200 years. Because, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. I thank you for attending today, and have a good morning. And I'll take any questions if anybody has them. I'll try to answer them. No? Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Dempsey. Great things to look forward to in 2018 in Mount Clemens. As always, we leave a little time for our elected officials to give us an update of what's going on in their areas. So first from Lansing, we have our state rep, Bill Sowerby.
Morning, everybody. And thank you to Greg Jacob from Henry Ford Health System, and thank you to Mayor Dempsey for this opportunity today. My name is Bill Sowerby. I'm the state rep. I'm, of course, the lesser-known Sowerby in this Mount Clemens community. Many of you know my brother Joe Sowerby of Anton Sowerby Real Estate down here in Mount Clemens, a long-time business here. My district is in District 31, which represents all of Mount Clemens, 2/3 of the population of Clinton Township, and all of Fraser. I serve on 3 committees in Lansing. I serve in 3 policy committees. The first one is education reform. Proud to serve on that and drive the issues of good quality education to continue in our state. I also serve as representative on the Judiciary Committee, which deals with a lot of state police issues, other court issues, and legal issues that come before us, that become laws in our state. And I also serve as the minority vice chair of the Natural Resources Committee, which, of course, deals with all those natural resource issues here in the state. The big issue right now in Lansing, as you all know, is auto no-fault insurance. I've learned more about insurance than I've ever cared to know in the short time I've been in Lansing. But all kidding aside, this is a very serious issue. The Lansing, I'm in my first term. I've been there now 10 months. But Lansing has tried tackling this issue in the past. 2 years ago, they tried, to no avail. Everybody knows what the cost is of our insurance. It's very high. It has to be figured out as to how we can drive that cost down, but still keep in place the important parts of what are known to be important about what our auto no-fault insurance provides us here in the state. So affordable insurance, but also making sure that the catastrophic care that has protected so many of our residents in awful auto accidents is there. You know, I can experience it from my own family. In 2005, My sister's son, David, was in a horrific car accident at the age of 17. To date, that catastrophic care is still providing his needs. He lost a leg, he had a severe brain injury, and had spinal fluid loss as well in a hole there. It has the cost care for him has been in the multi-millions of dollars. Okay, he's a functioning adult, but that's just one example of what so many people have, been able to be lifted up in the awful accidents that they're in with. But part of the problem is figuring out how we deal with the redlining issue. The non-driving factors that so many of us are saddled with. The zip code issue. If you live here in Mount Clemens or Clinton Township, you're penalized for your insurance and you have a higher insurance cost because of the zip code you live in. Your gender, your credit score, all these things that don't have any bearing on your ability to get auto no fault and keep the cost down. Most other states don't have those redlining issues. We have them here in Michigan. That's got to be tackled. We've got to take a look at how seniors can better be served under the auto no fault program. Seniors who end up with Medicare or have their own retiree care need to be able to have that lower amount because they have care provided to them, but maybe not all the care that is there under the current program, like their long-term care needs if they are in an accident, things of that sort. The biggest tackle is the Michigan Catastrophic Care Fund, which is that huge fund that is in the billions of dollars that takes care of all the needs of those persons who are seriously injured. And it's something that nobody has been able to figure out exactly how much is in there and how it's accounted for. That has to be addressed as well. Like I said, it's in the billions of dollars. There needs to be transparency in that fund. So the bottom line is right now we're looking at a bill that has been offered by the Speaker of the House, Tom Leonard, and by the Mayor of Detroit, Michael Duggan. And that is what has been getting a lot of attention in Lansing and actually was voted out of the Insurance Committee yesterday. We're likely to be talking about that. I'm not sure whether the votes are there. There is also a bipartisan plan as well that's been introduced by several members of the House and has a lot of good issues in it tackling these very same things. But it all comes down to how we can provide the care, but also lower the rates. And I promise you I will continue to work diligently on this issue. And I really believe there will be a vote on it. I believe that, like making sausage, you don't want to see it in the making, but the end product will be good, and that's what we're driving the issue for. And just a couple other things real briefly. I still feel we need to address the infrastructure issues here in Lansing. We all know what happened with the infrastructure collapse on 15 Mile Road with the interceptor system. Thank you, Candace Miller, for your effort on that. But that is indicative of the failed attempts by the state to address our road issues, our underground infrastructure issues, and our bridge issues with not providing enough dollars to tackle those issues. That still is foremost. Some of the positives, we came together unified in the House at the beginning of this year and passed a bill dealing with Freedom of Information Act. And that's very much needed in Lansing. If you're a city mayor or city commissioner, or when I was the treasurer of Clinton Township for 20 years, we all were subject to FOIA. But if you're in Lansing, I'm not subject to it, and that's wrong. And we have to address that. We did pass a bipartisan plan to make Lansing, the governor and all the offices there, part of this. It's stuck in the Senate. We're hoping they'll eventually take that up. The other issue that's not such a good thing is the super PACs issue. You've all heard Citizens United. That occurred back in 2008. The state, unfortunately, in September took that issue up and codified the Citizens United process and that just puts more big money, unknown money, into the pockets of state reps and state elected officials, and the transparency is not there, and it just provides more money. I've never heard from any of my constituents that more money is needed to be put in the pockets of elected officials, and this has been a problem. And lastly, I want to end, because there's so much going on up there, but the failure of the state to address the issues of proper funding for communities, the failure of that over the years with revenue sharing and the loss of that. I applaud the mayor and the city commissioners here for bringing the success of Mount Clemens, because it hasn't been easy. The state has balanced its budget while decreasing those important revenues to the local communities. And when you're an older community, a small community, it was doubly hard to make ends meet, and I applaud those efforts. I know in Clinton Township we have done the work and struggled, but done the work to keep the dollars fluent. We have to tackle that. We have to provide additional dollars so that the communities don't have to go back into the pockets of the taxpayers on their property taxes continually just to keep the community afloat. That's not fair. So with that, I want to thank you all for the opportunity today, and I'll be around if you have any questions.
Thank you, Representative. And for an update from the county, we have Deputy County Exec Mark Delkman. Please welcome him.
Good morning, everyone. I received a call this morning about 7:30 from Executive Hackle, sending his apologies that he could not be here today, but his schedule changed this morning. Let me start off by thanking Mayor Dempsey and the city commissions, those that are and are not here today, for the work that they do to make this city what it is today. I grew up, I was born and raised just a few miles, like within 5 miles from here my entire life, and about 7 years ago my wife and I just moved a few more miles away, so I've always lived within 5 miles. I've driven through this city my whole life, whether it was with my parents or myself when I used to drive through the community. But until I started working here 7 years ago, I work across the street in the glass building. I really have a new appreciation and respect for this town, in its history, especially its history. Again, being born and raised just a few miles from here. So I want to thank you for your leadership and all the work you do to make this town what it is. Truth be known, I never really patronized businesses here until I started working here, but now I find myself on weekends, my wife and I will visit the local diners for breakfast or lunch. Our son is an attorney, and 4 years ago he opened up a law office down here in Mount Clemens. So we are, I guess you could say, giving back, and we're really proud to be associated with this county. I want to just hit on a couple of things. Like the city of Mount Clemens, the county of Macomb government was formed in January of 1818. So next year in January, we will be planning a bicentennial celebration. It will be a year-long celebration that will involve all 27 communities in some way, shape, or form. We will kick off with a celebration on the first floor of the county administration building. There will be a torch relay and many other things. If you want more information about that, because I don't want to steal any of the mayor's points about their own celebration, you can go to our website or talk to our Deputy County Executive, Pam Lavers, for more information. The county the executive just submitted its 7th consecutive balanced budget. We have an annual budget of about $640 million that flow through county government. It's the 7th one that is balanced. We have taken great strides in the last couple of years to shore up our unfunded liabilities in the areas of pension and retiree health care. So we're real proud of that. We have 25 collective bargaining units or associations that we must bargain with. All contracts are settled. There are no disputes. And we are proceeding methodically but very carefully with county tax dollars. We are in the, I've mentioned here before, and you've probably read that about 3 years ago, we started a $70 million revitalization program to the county buildings. The oldest, which is this building. And speaking of driving through this community for many years, when my parents would drive the car through here and we would stop at a light here, and I would look up at these scary faces or these animal faces on the building. They just used to scare the daylights out of me. I later learned from research that they're mountain goats. I thought they were gargoyles or something, but they're mountain goats. And this building had never undergone a major renovation since it was built in 1931. It was not handicap accessible. It didn't have fire suppression or sprinkler system in it. So we had an electrical fire there in the spring of 2013. No one was hurt. There was some damage that was sustained to the building. But we saw that as an opportunity to go in and do a complete upgrade from the lower level, the basement, all the way up to the 13th floor. So this building now is in the process of being 100% occupied with businesses and services for the first time in probably decades. It was sorely needed. What that does is that if we provide more services in the building and every floor is occupied, it brings more people down to utilize the services and hopefully patronize the businesses that are surrounded. The glass building, it was built in the late 1990s on purpose. 2 floors were left unfinished for future growth. Those are now built out, so those floors are occupied. And the last project, which is going to take about a year, is doing some interior renovations to the 16th Circuit Court building across the street. There are 3 more judges that are due here by 2020, so we have to build out courtrooms. But it's not doing construction when you can't shut the building down. Certainly comes with its challenges, but we work through those every single day. But we're real proud of that because it is going to fully occupy all of these buildings down here, which will bring people downtown. And last but not least, the county executive has been busy the last several weeks preparing for his annual State of the County address, which is held over at the Center for Performing Arts at Macomb Community College. That is held in early December. I think it's the first Wednesday of December in the evening. And if you want to know more about that, you will just have to attend because I dare not steal any of my boss's thunder. So with that, I thank you very much.
Of course they're mountain goats. This is Mount Clemens, right? And last but not least, please welcome Public Works Commissioner Candace Miller.
All right, I'll be brief. Here's my speech. I wrote this on the napkin, a couple of little things while I was thinking about it there. Thanks. I'm delighted just to have a couple of minutes to bring you up to speed on some of the things that are happening. But first I have to say I loved your presentation this morning, and particularly all the history. And listen, Mark Delden, the reason these are mountain goats is because back in the day, before Samuel Clemens, right, the city of Mount Clemens was known as the city of high banks. High banks, that's why the mountain goats, right? Because this was actually the highest elevation in the county. I guess it still is, I don't know. But anyway, great history here, and interesting because, like Mark, we're about the same age. I know I'm a little bit older than you, but I remember driving through here when I was a kid. My dad used to drive us through, and we'd smell all the mineral baths, you know. Yeah, people said the smell of rotten eggs, but it was such a, it was so distinctive, you know. And we were on our way to the Kresge's, so I loved the Kresge store. We did all our Christmas shopping at the Kresge's. I love the toy section. Whoa! But anyway, some great history in Mount Clemens and in Macomb County as well. And I'll give you a very quick update on the biggest project I've been involved with this year. Obviously, as the Interceptor was mentioned. We have this enormous interceptor collapse that happened in 15 Mile Road in Fraser. And you know, when that first happened, people said, well, this could be a 3-year project, and this could be a project that would cost way, way north of $100 million. And so I am very pleased to tell you that the interceptor itself is completely done and completed. All the flow has been restored since September, and we now have filled in the shaft. And this enormous shaft that we had to get down to the interceptor, we had about 300 foot of pipe to fix. And then, no surprise, once we were able to get the bypass and get the sewage out of there so we could inspect immediately adjacent, we had to reline another 3,700 foot of pipe that was in imminent danger of collapse in another sinkhole. So that did not happen, and we ended up with 4,000 feet of pipe that we completely relined or new pipe in there. And we have now demobilized the bypass, which was over a mile long of parallel pipes running down 15-mile road. I know people said, oh, these old black pipes, we'll be glad to see them gone, but I love those old black pipes, and I will tell you why, because those old black pipes were the thing that saved us on at least 2 occasions, which was very critical, where we could have had an environmental catastrophe here of dumping raw sewage into the Clinton River and ultimately out into Lake St. Clair. That did not happen because of those old black pipes, so I love them. And now we're in the process of reconstructing 15-mile road. And we started to lay a little bit of concrete actually yesterday with some driveway approaches and that. So we are way ahead of schedule, and we are way below budget. And let me just tell you what, it doesn't get any better than that in government work, right? But I will say, and Representative Sowerby mentioned about infrastructure a bit and some of the big issues that you're talking about there. I'm going to go on a limb and predict that next year's gubernatorial race is going to be, the principal issue is going to be infrastructure. And not just because of what happened here in Macomb County, but now we saw what just happened in Oakland County, and everybody's talking about infrastructure. And I think it's important, if there's a silver lining to some of these terrible infrastructure problems that we're having, it's that as we have a conversation as a society here in Michigan and talk about all the various needs that we have, and we think about infrastructure, we always talk about overground infrastructure, right? I mean, you run into a pothole, you see it, you feel it, you know where it is, you know you got to fix it, but we don't know what's underground, and until something bad happens. And so that has to be a part of the conversation, and I appreciate the mayor talking about the SAW grant that they use to inspect all of their underground. It's so important. Aging cities everywhere. It's not unique to Michigan or Southeast Michigan. It's all over the country. But we need to know what's under there. We are inspecting our entire, the sewage sewer collapse is in, we have a number of different drainage districts, but this is one called the MID, Macomb Interceptor Drainage District. There's 11 communities involved in the MID, and we're inspecting 17 miles of underground, just about complete. No surprise, we have found some big challenges and big projects that we are going to have to undertake. And we will now, on a normal maintenance, make sure we have a good capital improvements program and that we're inspecting on a regular basis, et cetera. So got a lot of different things going on. I don't want to take too much time, but I did want to mention as well, we're doing a number of different drain inspections that have never been, we have, for instance, 3 big major storm drains down in the southern part of our county that were put in 1960, have never been inspected. Some of you might have heard me say there's one called the Stevens Drain that runs down from East Point, discharges by Blossom Heath in St. Clair Shores. We found an entire apartment complex that had, for over 30 years, about 35 years, been dumping their raw sewage. Their sewage, sanitary sewage, went right into the storm drain, directly out into the lake. That has been fixed, and we're finding other things. So everything that we are looking at with all of our, whether they're enclosed drains or open drains, we're doing a lot of illicit connection inspections that we're doing, or checking the sedimentation to make sure that there's no contaminants. So there's a number of reasons we have issues with water quality, and it's not just one, there's no silver bullet, right? There's so many different things that we have to take a look at. So we're looking at all those kinds of things. But it's been a great year, interesting year for me. I love this job. I'm telling you, I feel like it's so interesting, Every day I think, oh my gosh, now what, But I like to think of myself as a problem solver. I'm like, wow, this is what they got going on here. Big interceptor collapse, right? Okay, that's interesting. But it has been, and I really want to thank all the help and the support that we've gotten. And I'll tell you, Macomb County, I love Macomb County. This is a great place to live, to work, to raise your family. So again, I really appreciated all the information this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller. And before we let you go, just want to remind you of some upcoming chamber events. The Coffee Connection will take place on Wednesday, November 8th at 8 a.m. at Maddock Toyota on Hall Road. On November 17th, there is the Diversity Luncheon at the Italian American Cultural Society and Banquet Center. That's at 11 a.m. And Get to Know Your Chamber happens on Thursday, November 30th at 8 a.m. at First State Bank on Hayes Road. So thank you so much for your time and attention today. Drive safely and have a healthy weekend. Thanks.